Hey, what's going on? I'm Jordan Harris, and this is Sports Truth. Today's video is called Sober Thoughts on Mario Cristobal and Jacurri Brown. So yesterday, right after the bowl game, I came down and did a somewhat animated video because I was pretty irritated, frustrated by what we saw on the field. And I know that there were players that had opted out. There were players that were transferring, so they didn't play. There's players that are going to the draft, so they didn't play. All these different reasons. But the way I looked at it, I thought the Hurricanes had enough talent on the field to win, and I felt like we were let down in a lot of different areas. So it was, I mean, even though I don't play on the team, I am a fan, so I was a little embarrassed by it, which obviously frustrated me, made me a little upset. So I don't drink alcohol, I don't do any hard drugs, I don't do any drugs at all. But sometimes frustration can be like it can influence you more than the most harsh drug out there, right? So that's why I was like, it's probably a good idea for me to come down, do a video the day after. So 24 hours removed from the incident, as we'll call it. Figured I'll come down and just do some sober thoughts on Mario Cristobal and the quarterback play in the bowl game. So first, let's evaluate the Hurricanes coaching staff. All right, and I don't really just want to do an evaluation on just this game, but I also want to have an open mind and focus on this game and what we've seen so far since they've been coaching the Hurricanes. So this game left me super frustrated. It made me really frustrated at the coaching staff. So I've been the number one supporter for Mario Cristobal and his staff. I've been the number one supporter. Like, you can read all the comments, people who are calling for his head and saying that his seat should be hot right now. And I'm like, come on, man, let's be realistic. Like, the dude is doing a good job. People are upset about him not taking a knee, which was, I mean, obvious mistake. But I'm like, hey, he's doing 1,000 things positive. Don't look so hard on the one negative thing that he does. Like, I'm super positive. I've had his back all season. So this game was so frustrating to me because everything that people have been saying about Mario Cristobal, talking about his poor game management, talking about play calling, just all of these things that they've been saying throughout the year that I've been backing him on, it all showed in this bowl game. So that was like a huge letdown for me. I'm like, bruh, I can't keep on, I can't keep coming to your rescue or trying to support you if you're doing these things and you're making it so glaring that it makes me say, well, yeah, I can't really support that. So that was really frustrating. But even through all the nonsense, like even this one game, it was super frustrating. But I still do, and y'all gonna kill me for this, but I still do back the coaching staff 100% still. And if you're wondering why, the main thing is like I talk to people all the time in the comments. I talk to people here in Wichita, Kansas about the Hurricanes, and they get mad about the coaches and what they're doing and what they're not doing. And my response is always, who would you rather have? So let's say if Mario Cristobal quit right now, if we just got a notice on Twitter and it just said Mario Cristobal resigns, would you be happy or would you be like, uh-oh, we're in a tight spot? I think almost everybody would be like, ooh, we're in a tight spot right now. So I know a little bit about running businesses. As some of y'all know, I do own a few businesses. I own 6 businesses. I got about 120 employees. This year, I was actually recognized by the federal government as the business person of the year, small business person of the year for the state of Kansas. So, I mean, I was on the cover of magazines and everything this year. Kind of a crazy year for us. But with that, I know a little bit about running organizations. I don't know a whole lot, but at least you can give me credit for knowing a little bit about running organizations. And when you run an organization, the one thing that you do before you make a change is you make sure that you have somebody who's just as good or better ready to take the reins. And for all the people who are clamoring for getting I keep saying Manny, getting Mario out of here, the people who are clamoring for Mario needing to be on the hot seat, tell me, who would you rather have? Who would it be? Do you want to bring Lane Kiffin here? Like, who do you want to bring? Who wants to come coach the Hurricanes? And you think, like, of course, we would love to have Nick Saban, but he's not leaving Alabama. So who is a viable candidate that you would rather have on the Miami Hurricanes sidelines right now? You can't give me anybody that makes sense. Not one person, not one coach is a better fit for the Hurricanes right now. Nobody. So that's why I'm saying I support him 100% right now. Because would I rather have Al Golden, a.k.a. the Orange Tie? Heck no. Would I rather have Randy Shannon? As much as I do like Randy Shannon, no thanks. Would I rather have Manny Diaz? No thanks. So, people, relax. I think that our coaching staff has done far more good than they've done bad. And I think with that in mind, we should be positive and uplifting about what's coming in the future. That's just my mentality on it. The way that the recruiting is going right now, I feel like we just got to ride this thing out, man. Like, I think we've got to look at this in a positive outlook because the recruiting has gone so well these last couple years. Manny recruited like crazy in Oregon. He recruited like crazy in Alabama. He's come here at Miami, and he's sprinkled his magic dust on Miami because our recruiting is going crazy here too. So I think we're going to have to try to ride this thing out, hopefully have like a Butch Davis, Larry Coker kind of thing where the talent just – like the talent is so great on the field that it covers up a lot of the mistakes that some of the coaches might make here and there. That's what I'm hoping for. But we'll see. But yeah, we also need to hope that he just learns from the mistakes. So once again, when you're running a business, it's never a good idea to fire somebody based off of one mistake they make, unless it's just this totally egregious thing that makes everybody look terrible, lose a championship, or get you fined or get you sued by somebody like that. Yeah, go ahead and fire them as soon as that happens. But I don't think that you fire a coach for the kneeling incident. Let's call it an incident against Georgia Tech. I don't think you fire somebody for that. Now, if we have that same instance next year, like if we get to the point where there's 20 seconds left, we up by 4 points, and we don't kneel the ball, and so I'm going to be like, okay, homeboy has not learned from his mistakes. It's probably time for him to go. I think that you got to give a little bit of leniency, especially when people are doing positive things. Give a little bit of leniency when they make a mistake. I mean, I'm sure y'all would like for your bosses, if you work for somewhere, your clients, your bosses, whatever it may be, I'm sure you would like a little bit of leniency and grace whenever you make a mistake. So I think when you make the first mistake, go ahead and say, okay, cool, I'm going to let you have that. But if you make that same mistake again, we're going to have to talk about your job security. That's how I get down, and I'm thinking that it'll be cool if we all looked at our coaches that way as well. So this is going to be year 3, right? We got to expect some major accomplishments this year. And when I'm talking about accomplishments, I'm talking about the record. We cannot, I don't think next year we can accept 7-5. We can't do it, especially with the schedule that we have. Like, this schedule is like I almost want to call it a cakewalk. Like, this schedule is very favorable. So with the talent that we've gotten, we've got a crazy talent upgrade with the recruiting. Hopefully talent has been developed over these last couple of years. And then with the schedule being as favorable as it is, I think that we have to expect at least 9 wins, but hope for 10 wins this coming year, especially if we get a major upgrade at the quarterback position. Like if Cam Ward comes to play for Miami and we only win 8 games, I'm going to be one of these people saying, oh no, Mario, like, bro, it's not looking good. Like, and I'm the last person to be saying that. So if I'm saying that, I'm sure all of y'all are going to be walking around with your pitchforks trying to get to the man. So those are my thoughts on the coaching staff. I think we got to support them 100% right now because they're doing positive things as far as bringing in more talent. Recruiting is going really well. We're actually, like, people are actually talking about us in the national news now, which is, you know what I'm saying? So it's positive. Things are going in the right direction. Our momentum is positive, even though we just had this terrible loss yesterday. So let's talk about the quarterback. Okay, the quarterback situation. We are all hoping for Cam Ward, obviously. KJ from Arkansas, that I don't know what's going on with that because I haven't heard any whispers, anything about him being interested in Miami, anything about Miami being interested in him. So right now it just looks like it's going to be either Cam Ward from Washington State. I don't think Will Howard is in the options anymore. I think he's out. So it's either going to be Cam Ward or I'm guessing Jacurri Brown if he ends up deciding to come back. But let's talk about his game yesterday. So, well, actually, before we talk about his stats and everything, The first thing I want to say is we should all have so much respect and appreciation for what Jacurri Brown did yesterday. I don't know what all went into him deciding to play. I don't know. Maybe they paid him some money. I don't know. But I respect the heck out of dude for playing because he sat the bench the entire year. I'm sure he wanted to play some of those games. Like, I don't know, but I'm guessing he probably wanted to play. When TVD finally got benched and they ended up putting Emery in the game, I'm sure Jacurri was like, "Well, damn, I was here last year, and they gonna overlook me for this new guy that's coming in, Emery." Like that had to be a tough pill to swallow, right? So that was tough. And then for him to come and play in the bowl game when we needed him because we really didn't have any other quarterbacks, I respect the heck out of that because he could have been like, you know what, I wanted to play all season. You wasn't looking at me. Now that you need me, you begging me to play? No, I'm not going to play. He could have done that and stuck it to the coaching staff, but he didn't. So I respect the heck out of him for that. And I appreciate the fact that he did play because as embarrassing as that loss was yesterday, can you imagine how embarrassing it would have been if we would have rolled out like a walk-on quarterback or something like that? It would have been crazy. Okay, so talking about Mr. Brown and the game he played yesterday, he did some really positive things. Like I went back and watched, as tough as it was, I went back and watched a lot of the plays from that game. He did a lot of positive things. He looked much better than he did last year. So I got to give a lot of y'all a shout out because I was telling y'all like last year he didn't look very good at all. There's a reason why Emery is starting over him. I'm thinking he probably hasn't progressed much. But to me, it looks like he's gotten quite a bit better. I don't think it's because the offensive line is much better. I don't think it was because of play calling. I just think that he has improved. He's able to look at multiple reads now. Last year, he looked at one read, dropped his head, and took off running. This game that he played, he was actually going from it through his progression, looking at one read, two read, three reads, take off running. I like that quite a bit. So he showed some really good things. He didn't stay in the pocket and like stand like a statue and get sacked over and over and over. I think he only got sacked once, if I remember correctly. He didn't look scared or jittery back there. Like he seemed pretty calm outside of the first quarter. The first quarter he looked pretty rough, but outside of that first quarter he looked pretty calm. And I like the fact that he was quick to run when he needed to. So going over his stats, he was 20 for 31, 181 yards, which is not a great yardage per completion. Not great at all, but it is what it is. One touchdown and one really bad interception. He threw it right into the chest of a defender. Really bad interception. But he also had 15 rushes for 57 yards, which were some timely rushes, I thought. So at the end of the game, in the fourth quarter, he ran the ball quite a few times in the fourth quarter, and I wish he would have been having that mindset quarter 1 through 3 as well because they moved the ball down the field because if he didn't see what was open, he would run for 5 or 7 yards. I love that mentality. But he also had 2 rushing touchdowns yesterday. So did he do some good things? Heck yeah, he did. He impressed me. I know a lot of people are going to say he didn't do enough. Fair enough. That's fair enough. But I think I was impressed watching him because he looked so much better than the year before. It only makes me think what he would do if he played a couple more years or even one full season, what he would look like. So did he do enough to be the starter next year, or did he do enough for me to be comfortable with him being the starter next year? The answer to that is no. I think that we still need to be praying that Cam Ward decides to come to Miami to be the starter. I do think if Jacurri Brown ended up being the starter for us next year, we would end up going 7-5 or 8-4 is what I'm thinking, somewhere in there. I think we would lose, 4 or 5 games. I think the best we could possibly do. I would be extremely surprised if we were to go 9-3 with Jacurri Brown. So I think the ceiling for him is 9-3, and I think the basement for him is probably losing 5 games. Those are my thoughts, man. It's a tough day to be a Hurricane still, man. It was a rough game yesterday. I hated to see that game, even though we were low on talent on the field and whatnot. I think we had enough to win. We just didn't put forth the right game plans, and I don't think we put I don't think the players put forth the right effort as well. Those are my thoughts on that. Please let me know what your thoughts are as well. Let me know if you are right at where are you at as far as supporting our coaching staff? Like, are you 100% supporting them like I am, or are you thinking, man, it's probably time to start looking elsewhere? Let me know what your thoughts are. I'd also be interested in knowing, who do you think would be a better fit for the Hurricanes coaches right now? Like, let me know who you think would be a really good fit. And it's got to be somebody realistic. It cannot be Nick Saban. He's not going to leave and come and coach the Hurricanes. Well, I can't think of what the LSU's Ed Orgeron. It cannot be him. Like, he's not the guy either. So let me know who you think would be a better fit for the Hurricanes. I would love to know who that would be. And then let me know, like, how would you feel if Cam Ward did not come to play for Miami, and we ended up I shouldn't say that, and we ended up going with Jacurri Brown as our starting quarterback? Would you feel pretty confident, or would you feel like, oh my gosh, it's going to be a nightmare? Curious to know what y'all's thoughts are on that. All right, so that's all I have for you today. Please do like the video, subscribe to the channel, because we are still working to get 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and we are super close to the end of the year. But God has done some crazier things, so I'm still hopeful that this will happen for us. As I always say at the end of the videos, you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I truly appreciate that. So take care. God bless. Peace.